What's up, everybody? Tyson Rash, Let's Talk Jets. Hope everybody's having an excellent week. It's crazy to think we're at the second preseason game already. It feels like almost yesterday training camp started, but it also means there's a lot less time for players to make an impression on Aaron Glenn if they haven't done so already. So this video will be about some training camp battles to watch, but the first one I want to talk about is the quarterback position. We obviously know Justin Fields is the established starter, but the Tyrod Taylor injury is just kind of weird how it all played out, where it was a wear and tear injury. Now he's out the entire preseason and maybe week one. Adrian Martinez is getting a lot of valuable reps. So is Brady Cook. I know he got banged up, but it's like, do you really feel comfortable if Justin Fields goes down week one that you have one of these guys playing? And to me, if I'm Mujin Glenn, I'm watching the waiver wire, watching cuts to see what happens in terms of if a veteran signal caller gets released. I wouldn't be opposed to picking one up. Not saying sign a guy for 1 year, $8 million. I mean, Tyrod's making decent money, but you can get some guy on a veteran minimum that's actually quarterback the NFL game, is kind of like an established veteran. I'm not opposed to it. Staying on offense, the running back position. Obviously, you have Breece, Brown, and Isaiah Davis. Brown is having a phenomenal camp. Breece is coming on a little bit. Isaiah Davis has been banged up a little, but then you have Donovan Edwards. Can he find the role on this team? Can he make an impact? Can he play special teams? Can you keep 4 running backs? Especially when you have Andrew Beck playing fullback. I think that's kind of the X factor in all of this in terms of can you keep him or not. So if the other thing is it's hard to assess too much right now because injuries happen. Like you just saw Isaiah Davis get banged up a little bit. If one of these guys goes out, Donovan Edwards can find a role. So you don't make any harsh moves now. You kind of let it play out, but a battle to watch. Wide receiver position is getting really interesting where after Garrett Wilson and Josh Reynolds, you have a lot of guys competing for spots. Allen Lazard's hurt. But then you have Tyler Johnson's making some moves. But the young players that are really interesting is Aaron Smith, who everybody, the rap on him, he's all speed, can't run routes, can't do this, a lot of drops, has had an excellent camp. So maybe he can find a role for him much quicker than we thought. I know they're trying to work him at kick returner too, and I honestly wouldn't do that. I'd rather him master his craft right now and don't give him the added burden, the stress of returning kicks. Like let him just be really good at one position because he may be needed. Obviously, you want a burner on offense, but if he can be a versatile threat and catch the football consistently, it's good. You have Brandon Smith. I think Malachi Corley's got to step it up, man. He's got to show more than what he's showing now. Or I think his spot could be in jeopardy. Jamal Pritchett, a guy that's a kind of a smaller but guy that returners, actually having a good camp as well. So definitely plenty to look out for there. Tight end position is just Mason Taylor, and then after that, you're hoping Stone Smart emerges. What is Ruckert, man? Again, the Beck thing is interesting because it could make one of these guys expendable if you want to have some roster maneuvering where you can say, Beck is a hybrid fullback tight end. Cool. So tight ends got to show their case as well. Offensive line is interesting, man, because everybody kind of discounted this Tippmann-Myers competition at training camp, but you look at Myers started at center last week. He did a lot of first-string reps against the Giants, and then you hear like sporadic with Tippmann with the high snap and all this, and you wonder if Justin Fields, comfort level with Myers being a lot just more familiar from Ohio State gives him an advantage where it's like, listen, man, we want to have Justin Fields be as comfortable as possible, and we think Myers gives him that. Or is this just all ways to challenge Tippmann to make him a better player and kind of a motivational tactic? Something to keep an eye on. You never know. A lot of backup offensive linemen are trying to find their way. We have your Carter Warrens, your Max Mitchells. Again, because this staff inherited these guys. There's no foregone conclusions. On defense, interesting battles where you kind of wonder about safety position. To me is really interesting because Malachi Moore is having a really good camp. You also have, Tony Adams has kind of been up and down. You have another player too. He's on the safety. Off the top of my head, I forget. Oh, Isaiah Oliver, special teams guy. So you wonder, how does this all play out? And again, special teams plays a huge role. Can Malachi Moore find a way to get a lot of reps or maybe even start? You look at the corners, you have your starters there, but can Quantez Stiggers make a big move? He's making an impact on special teams. The linebackers seem to be pretty much in place. The last piece of the puzzle is the defensive line. And the defensive line has been my concern since the preseason. Since the training camp started. You have young players like Leonard Taylor, emerging, which is great. But you want that big run stuffer in the middle. And who's it going to be? Brian, Coward's hurt. Tufele came on, if I'm saying his name right. He's coming on. But this is going to be a lot of hard-fought reps over the next 2 weeks to see who can stake their claim to not only start and get reps, just to make the roster in general. So the Jet-Giant game on Saturday, they play at 7 o'clock. You look at how Aaron Glenn handled the joint practices where they had 2 intense days. Does he want to roll it out and bring everybody back in on Saturday against the same people you've already practiced against? Or does he say, I'm going to have only my second and third stringers play? Either way, I wouldn't hate it. Like if you have Justin Fields play 2 series, hey, the more experience, the better. If he wants to rest them and say, listen, we already know what we got against this defense, which is a very good defense, I'm cool with it too. And then next week, maybe they play more. They don't. It's just, he keeps saying what the blueprint is, but he won't tell us what it is. So let me know what you guys think about that. How much of the starters should play, if at all, on Saturday. But interesting times, man. Like I don't really go, like there's going to be highs and lows of training camp. They're going to have good days and bad days. So you can't be like, after the game against the Packers, this could be a playoff team. To a bad practice against the Giants, they suck. They're not going to be any good. Like, it's a roller coaster ride, man. But the most important thing is they're learning in training camp. They're trying to establish their culture. They're trying to implement their new offense, implement new defense, learn your coaching staff, learn your schemes. There's so much going on right now that you can't just, flip any panic switch at this point. So, but for me, backup quarterback is one that I'm keeping an eye on because that makes me nervous, really nervous. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later.